So this week on Ryan and Megan, we discuss what our 2024 plans are going to be. So we're going to share that with you. 2024 has definitely not started how we thought it was going to. So even though we're sharing our plans today, it's probably not going to go how we think it's going to go.
Okay, welcome to Ryan and Megan podcast. This is episode number 15, and we're back after a little hiatus.
We are definitely back. It has been a hiatus. It was like holiday season, so we took a hiatus for that, to see family. Mm-hmm. And then 2024 started, and we were thinking like, we're going to roll into the new year, new us.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. And we just got smacked in the face. That's how it went down.
Yeah, we just picked up a few bugs from the holiday season. And Ryan ended up sick. Reagan was sick for about a week. And then Lainey got sick like the week after they were sick. So it just drug on and on and on.
It was like the first week of January, I was really sick. Out of work, and I don't ever hardly miss work. And then Reagan, our oldest daughter, she was kind of having the same stuff going on. I thought you and Lainey were going to survive, but then it was like the next week that it hit for you guys. And I was still recovering. I couldn't hear. It felt like my head was in a bucket.
Yeah. And then being sick in the RV was not fun.
Yes. I think that's what made it worse.
It made it way worse, definitely. But hey, let me just mention, if you're new here, we are two traveling physical therapists, and we travel with our family. We live in an RV when we're traveling. We have a home back at our home base, and we talk about travel therapy stuff on this podcast and kind of how we're making it work with the family. And hopefully it's helpful to you to give you some ideas on how to make it work for you. So that's the gist of us. But yes, we started off this year sick. We were ready to hit the ground running, and it just didn't quite pan out that way.
No, and the RV has been okay, I would say, for us. We've been here almost 2 months living in the RV. Give or take, we've had some weekends we went back to our house to see family and different holiday events. But it's been okay. But we've been able to get outside the RV. And when we were sick, we couldn't take the kids anywhere, right? We don't want them to be around other kids and get sick. We could hardly go anywhere. And just this,
and it was rainy.
My estimated 300 foot of square feet just got really small fast when we couldn't leave for a week.
It just felt like the days just felt really long. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I hate everyone in here and I hate being in here. It was just that I have cabin fever and the day feels like triple its length, just because at some point you kind of run out of ideas of what to do. And I start feeling the mom guilt of my kids watched 2 movies today and crazy stuff. So
yeah, and no one felt good. So that adds it right on top.
Yeah, and Ryan wasn't helping with anything.
Yeah, right. I did have to take some moments of rest, but helping out.
So anyway,
the next thing we did was we went to Colorado. So Megan and I, after the weeks of sickness, we got to feeling better. And then we flew out with some friends to Denver, Colorado, and then ended up driving actually back east towards Missouri to visit our friend because he was getting married. And a college friend, a buddy we've traveled with. And that was really awesome because there was a lot of people from our college we hadn't seen in a while, a lot of our kind of core friend group. And so it was a really great wedding. It was very, very cold. That was when that big cold spell came through. And so we got to experience negative 30-degree weather.
Yeah, I don't think it was truly that. Yeah, the wind chill was
like negative 10, but the wind chill was negative 30.
I think that's the coldest I've ever been in.
It probably is the coldest we'll ever be in. So we got to go do that, which was a lot of fun. We got to spend a little time in Denver and went to a small town in Colorado to have the wedding. The problem was getting back home.
Yeah, the flights. So the wedding was 2 hours east of Denver. in the direction of home, east towards St. Louis. But the closest airport, quickest way to get in there was to fly to Denver, drive 2 hours to the place where the wedding was. And then when we were going home, we were going to drive 2 hours away from home back to the Denver airport and then fly home. But after we had driven our 2 hours back to Denver, our flights got canceled, and like everyone's everywhere got canceled with all the airlines. And so we knew our chances of getting a flight rebooked even the next day were very, very slim.
Yeah, they had like canceled everything out till Tuesday, and we were trying to leave Sunday night.
Yep.
And so by the time we got to Denver, it was already 3:00 in the afternoon when we found out that our flights were going to be canceled, and it wasn't looking good. And we kind of needed to get back. We didn't bring the kids with us, which was probably a blessing, but also we needed to get back.
For sure was.
For sure a blessing, but we needed to get back to our kids. And so we had a really tough decision to make. Do we wait around and hope that they schedule something? Everything looks like it's blocked out till next Tuesday. Or do
we start like a 14-hour drive home at 3 p.m. was the question.
Right. So we would have drove 2 hours back to where we were. We would have went right back where we were, and then we would have had another like 9.5 hours or so, 10 hours or so.
Yeah.
And really the weather in Denver was fine. It was really cold. But the problem was there was so much bad weather everywhere else in the United States that no planes were coming into Denver, so they couldn't swap them out and load them up. So we still had our rental car, had a very nice minivan, minivan life. And we made the tough decision at 3:00, around 3:00 in Denver, to go ahead and drive all the way back to St. Louis, Missouri.
But we had a carload, which was good. It was fun to have conversation, fun to chat. And then we had plenty of drivers to kind of switch between. And we all lasted well with that kind of strategy driving wise.
So we got in real early, about 2:00, 3:00 on Monday morning.
Yeah, like 2:30 in the morning.
Back to our house. And thankfully, I had taken that off work. Yeah. And we kind of recouped.
So that was interesting. It was a lot of fun to see a whole bunch of friends.
Oh, yeah.
The wedding was really great. It was fun to be kid-free and just hang out and not have... We kept saying when we were in the airport, like, we feel like we're forgetting something, or I feel like lighter because we're used to carrying so much more and thinking about so much more. So it was just kind of like easy breezy and fun. Yeah. Good time, but a crazy drive back.
Definitely.
For sure.
And then it wasn't over. It was like the next thing after the next thing.
What was the next thing?
The next thing was we were still having the record low temperatures that we experienced in Colorado. Well, they just followed us all the way home because that's how weather works. And we had left our RV back in Missouri, where we're on contract currently. We're not in our hometown, but we're in our home state. So we're about like 2 hours away. And we had left the RV kind of last minute. We didn't really think about the weather. I had emptied out as much water as I could, but I didn't blow out the lines or winterize an RV. And if you're an RVer, you would understand that that's important, because any little water you have in your water lines, they're highly exposed in an RV. And that's just if it gets below freezing. Well, then all of a sudden, when we were gone, we were experiencing numbers around like 0, single digits, sometimes negative in Missouri, which is very, very rare for us. And so all I could think about was, oh my gosh, the RV is we're busting pipes open. Next time we turn on the water, it's going to flood our whole new RV, or new to us RV. So that was really stressful. And when we got back on Monday, all those temperatures were going to stay for the whole week. So single digits was like the high. And so Megan and
that's not a great environment to be RVing in.
It's not a good RVing environment. We suggest going south for the winter, but we chose not to go south for winter. And so we had a really tough decision. The girls we were all back home on that Monday because we were expecting to fly in to St. Louis, and Megan's parents watched the kids for us when we were in Colorado. And so we ended up deciding that I would get to go back to the cold RV, see how everything was, and the girls would stay home and in the nice warm cozy, comfortable house.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to come back for work anyway.
Another thing, did you have this on there? No, you forgot it. While we were at the house, our brand new HVAC system that we just replaced in our entire house in the fall had its like 5th breakdown. And so our like heating system wasn't working at the house. So these guys came out on Monday morning from the company and like we're working in the single digit temperatures to totally replace our whole outdoor unit.
They replaced the whole thing, and it's brand new. We got it this fall.
Yeah. If something's working and it's old, just leave it because the new stuff is not that reliable.
New isn't always better.
So we were at home in the warm house, but it had a little problem in and of itself too. Yeah. But Ryan got back to the RV and he basically lived in the RV for a whole week without running water because we weren't about to turn that back on when it was still freezing outside.
Well, actually, I tried to turn it back on because I wanted to know, do I have frozen pipes or not? And no water came, and I was like, oh, crap. It's frozen. We probably have a busted pipe. I mean, the odds of it were really, really high. But then the next day, I found out up at the RV park, just the main building here, they had signs up that the water main to the whole RV park froze, and that thing's like way underground. It had froze and busted, and that's why I had no water. But it could have been also frozen pipes. So even if everything was functioning correctly, nobody at the RV park had water for like the whole week. So I was here with like jugs of water that I bought from Walmart. I was like truly camping.
Let's just say, good thing we have baby wipes.
Yeah, didn't get to shower because the shower house was all frozen over or didn't have water. And then of course the RV didn't have water. Your
patients probably don't have acute senses of smell.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. So probably a good thing I just came back and kind of roughed it out, just did my work. And then eventually they did get the water main fixed. Temperatures, I was going to go back home for the weekend. So I went ahead and temperatures did get high enough that if anything was frozen, it had melted. I went ahead and blew out all of our lines because we were getting another kind of cold spell of single digit weather that came through. And then we came back this week and kicked on the water and looked really, really closely to see if anything was busting. And so far, we haven't seen anything. No obvious leaks. There might be some tiny leaks that we're not noticing.
Thank the Lord.
But
nothing is busted.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how we avoided that. So
yeah.
But we're all back.
Now we are all back at the RV. This is our first week back at the RV after all of that craziness. And this week is just torrential downpour all week.
Yeah, it all turned to rain. We have like a huge water puddle outside our front. It kind of looks like our RV is a boat. There's so much water around it.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty crazy. We can get in and out, but barely without soaking our shoes. So it's been eventful beginning of the year. But that's how things go.
Hey,
just sets the tone.
That's part of travel.
I don't expect anything less
than crazy. A wild year.
But we do have some plans in motion for the rest of this year as far as our contracts go. So kind of what we are thinking is of extending this contract here outside of St. Louis, at least until May, and then maybe a little bit further into the summer if they need him, if it's going well, if we're still surviving. And we're kind of just like figuring out, still this whole first contract, we're figuring out like what kind of travel do we want to be doing? Do we want to be far away from home? Do we want to be close? Do we want to be doing cool adventures? Do we want to leave it laid back? Just it's a whole different pace with kids. We still think that like doing the adventures and getting those memories with them though is really cool. So we're just trying to figure out like what type of adventures are those, because we think back to our memories of traveling and being in Montana and seeing all these really amazing things. And we kind of daydream about wanting to bring the girls there so that they can see it. But also like the pace of doing that is totally different than what we did when we saw it. So it probably wouldn't be quite as like efficient or enjoyable. So
Yeah,
we're trying to
find our groove of what traveling with a family looks like. I think that's a perk of travel in a way because it's so flexible on kind of however traveler you are. If you're a go getter, you can make travel that way. If you're kind of slow and let go and you don't care where you go, it can be that way. So we're kind of finding what's our groove. Right now, it's this contract that's been somewhat close to home has been a perfect first contract for our family because we're close enough that we can still see family every so often. It was perfect for the holidays when we needed to go in and these few doctor's appointments for the girls. So it's been really great. And so that's why I did end up accepting an extension into May to just kind of keep that rolling. I like the job. Most of the time, I think one thing that we have found with our groove is if we can probably work about 6 months at a time instead of doing 3-month contracts and then moving, it's probably better to be kind of stationary for 6 months, even if it's away. So that was kind of always on our mind to do. And they still had the need for me here. And so we went ahead and extended. The next one, so at the end of May, we'll have to kind of figure out, do we extend again? It would be a really great time to be here in the summer because we're really close to the, the Ozark Lake of the Ozarks, which has a lot of fun summer possibilities that we could explore. And again, it's been a good contract. And so sometimes you just have to milk the contract and
kind of,
if you're comfortable there.
Kind of figuring out is the benefit being so close to home that we can go back and kind of feel like we're still at home. Is that not enough to satisfy
or what's the point kind of thing?
Us wanting to be home? Would it be better? Would we be having more fun if we were in Florida right now where it wasn't crazy freezing and raining all the time? I don't know.
I think so, actually. Actually, now that you've said it out loud, I think my toes need to be in some sand. No, so this is all things we're considering. We don't have an answer for you, and it's probably different for each family, I would say. So we're just kind of trying a little bit of this. We'll probably try a little bit of some other options. But right now, we're here. Mm-hmm. We're trying to make the most of it. It's kind of interesting traveling in your home state. We've done it once before, but I don't know, it's just kind of different. You don't think of your home state as that great usually. And so, or at least in the Midwest where there's not much to do, or at least we didn't think there was much to do. But I think there'll be some cool opportunities if we did stay over the summer to do some lake life stuff instead of ocean life or sea life. What do they call it? Salt life.
Salt life.
And, but that does bring us to, even if we did extend, and that brings us to the fall or end of August, what do we do then? That's probably around the time we would probably consider looking at, is there anything around our home for the winter?
So far, we've always come back home, I think, because I was pregnant.
Yes.
So
that's been a good forcing hand.
I think that's why this time it feels a little weird to think about it because.
So we just need to get pregnant again, is what you're saying.
I don't know about that. Yeah, but that's why it feels so different.
It definitely feels different. We're not, I don't want to say forced to come home, but we wanted to come home. It was like we knew that was the plan. But now it's kind of open up to possibilities. Yeah. And since we've been so close, it's kind of felt like we've been home, but not really.
Yeah.
So there's all these different thoughts. We do know one thing is this winter has been kind of tough in the RV. So if there's any possibility of going south in the RV,
following weather
might be
we do
ideal.
Have some friends we'd love to meet back up with.
Travel friends
for a contract.
And they might journey on over to the old Midwest Missouri.
They're pretty adventurous though. They're ambitious, so maybe they'll force our hand to be ambitious with them, and then we'll just go with them.
That's another cool thing about travel is you end up meeting people that you never would have met, and then you kind of can coordinate travel contracts with them. You can either actually team up and travel with someone, or in this case, we met a couple that's also therapists. And so we met them in Arizona, and then we met later with some other couples. We had a couple couples go to Washington. We all kind of said, hey, we're looking at Washington around Seattle. We all got contracts there and got to hang out. So that was really cool. That's a really cool opportunity to kind of intermingle. And so we're trying to figure out that they're starting their family.
Okay, I'm calling it.
We're starting our family, so we're trying to figure out how we can travel a little bit,
Multiple
do a caravan.
Couples, because the ones that are in Colorado just had theirs first one too.
They're not traveling anymore, but maybe we can convince them.
We can convince them to all meet up in Hawaii. Okay.
Hey, that sounds really great.
I know that my mom would be a fan of that, as long as she could come.
So we don't really know what our fall into winter plans are right now, if we'll be back home or if we'll consider possibly something south. We'd love to do a Florida one. I don't know why. Just kind of sounds exciting. So maybe considering that. But as
just
you
one
guys
that's
know,
more south and closer to the beach, I guess.
Yeah, travel fluctuates so much. Next week I could be told that they hired someone permanent and I got 30 days until my contract's up and I got to look for something else. It really fluctuates so quickly, but it's okay to try to set some plans and think ahead. Just know that when your plans get wrecked, it's not because travel is bad. It's just part of it. Now it's just a new opportunity for you to look elsewhere and consider different things.
Yep. Reagan, on kind of another note, she's been kind of responding okay to going between the homes. We're trying to figure out a balance of what's too much moving back and forth, but she knows we have our RV home. So when we pull in, she'll be like, RV home. And then when we pull into our house, she's like, home. So she knows both of them are places where she lives. And so far she hasn't thrown a tantrum about being at either one. So that's good. But we do have some travel plans that are not related to work this year as well. We have a trip to Mexico that we qualified for through one of our travel agencies. And then we also have a family vacation.
Actually, the travel company that we qualified for, it's the only one that I've ever seen do this. So you earn points by completing travel assignments with them. So, 13-week assignments, you get 1 point. If you get 4 points in the year, then you get this all-inclusive trip to Mexico. And it's not like a team building trip or anything. It's truly you go there and you just enjoy. They do that or they pay you out a bonus. And there's other ways you can earn points. So you can earn half points by extending, I think, or working home health. So there's different ways you can earn a referral. You can get, an extra point. But if you earn your points, then you can go on this trip. So Megan and I earned the trip. This is the second year that we've done it. Last year we didn't get to go. So we're really excited for that. We have friends that are work with this company, travel friends, and they're going to be going. And we've actually been taking multiple contracts with this company. We have a really great recruiter there. All of our recruiters that we work with are really great, but he's done a really great job. And I think that's a really enticing perk for people. So if you are interested in 2024 is the year that you're going to hop into travel, our number one advice is find a good recruiter, someone that will work hard for you, that you can trust, that's going to find you jobs, because that's going to make your experience the best. And so we are always willing to share the people who we personally work with. If you're very interested in this company that does this trip and the recruiter that we work with at that company, then definitely fill out the form in the description below. That just lets us know a little bit about you so we can pair you with one of our recruiters, because we do work with some other companies, and we always suggest working with at least 2 to 3 recruiters from different travel companies. But on there, you can send us an email, or in that form, you can say, hey, I'd be really interested in this all-inclusive trip that I can earn. What's that travel company? And we'll share that with you. But you want a good recruiter. So ask a travel friend. You don't have to ask us, but if you need to, ask us, and we will personally share those with you. But we're doing that in March.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to bubble wrap all the kids so no one gets hurt, so we get to go this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you say our other one was?
We have a vacation.
Our family one.
With family to Gulf Shores, I think.
Have you been to Gulf Shores?
I have.
I have not been to Gulf Shores. It seems like everyone in the Midwest has been to Gulf Shores.
We went to the Hangout. It has a little
Actually, I
And-
know about the hangout. I haven't even been there. So exciting. We're going to get a little beach, which is kind of cool. We're not beach people. I would say we're more mountain.
Beach.
We're more mountains people,
Yeah.
but everyone likes the beach occasionally.
Yeah. Here's a question. If you could move anywhere, where would it be?
Just open-ended like
Just
that? Just
open-ended.
anywhere?
Like in the country.
I don't know. I'd probably go mountains somewhere.
No, I'm saying a town.
Oh, I don't know.
Twin Falls, Idaho.
Wow, you got it locked down.
Yeah.
Hey, Twins Falls is really nice.
Coeur d'Alene,
Coeur d'Alene's nice. It'd be probably cold in the winter.
Montana.
Cold in the winter.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's move on to our last little segment called What's Been Good, What's Been Poopy.
Yeah.
Sound like a plan?
And we've already kind of told you about our recruiters. So again, just look at the form down below. But Megan, are you ready to go, or do you want to ask me? You got to think a little bit. What's been poopy for you?
What's been poopy? Probably the rain and how saturated the ground is. It's so muddy. You can't really walk around the RV
Anywhere.
without stepping in mud. And I forgot my waterproof muck boots. Is that a word? Muck boot?
Yeah. Muck. I think it's a brand, but
muck.
Mhm. So what's been good?
What's been good?
Wow.
The new year, it's just been kind of nice to have reflected on the last year and what are some ambitions and goals that I'm hoping for this year. So I feel a little motivated in that regard. So that's been good.
Good.
How about you? What's been good?
What's been good is that we had no busted pipes. I was very worried about it. I'm just trying to take care of the things that we own, and one of them is our home here on wheels. But yeah, no busted pipes so far.
That was a
So
relief.
far. That is a relief.
You were talking like they were already busted,
Yes.
and they weren't. That's so great. What's been poop?
What's been poopy is being sick in the RV. I love RVing. I love RV life. I love camping. So I love everything about this. But a small space gets really small when everyone's sick and your whole family's in here. And then I feel like I'm torturing my family for making them live in an RV. But so that was kind of poopy. But hey, hopefully this was helpful.
Being
just
sick is poopy.
letting us share some of our 2024 plans with you. They probably won't work out, but who knows? Now you know. Now you kind of know the inside thought process on what we're thinking on contracts and stuff. And majority of the time, it's like this. And so maybe that's helpful for you as you're kind of picking where
it's
you're
pretty
traveling
open-ended
to. It's very
for us.
open-ended. Well, thank you for watching. If you could, hit that like button, consider subscribing. And until next time, see ya.